Right now, you're moving through space at a speed that would have sounded impossible to almost every human who has ever lived. Not metaphorically, not philosophically, physically. The earth beneath your feet is spinning at hundreds or even thousands of miles per hour, depending on where you are. At the same time, it's orbiting the sun at about 67,000 miles per hour. The sun is moving through the Milky Way. The Milky Way is moving through space. And somehow, you don't feel any of it. The room feels still. The floor feels solid. Nothing about this moment suggests that you're riding a planet through the universe. If you had been born 10,000 years ago and nobody told you otherwise, you would probably believe the Earth was perfectly motionless. Honestly, most of us still do. Not intellectually, experientially. And that's the part I find strange. Because when something enormous is happening and you can't perceive it at all, the question stops being about astronomy. It becomes a question about perception, about awareness, about what it means to be human. Think about being on a long flight. Hours after takeoff, the cabin lights are low, someone is sleeping with their head against the window. Someone else is watching a movie. A flight attendant quietly rolls a cart down the aisle, and for a moment, it doesn't feel like you're traveling. It feels like you're sitting in a chair. Yet that chair is moving faster than most race cars will ever go. The reason is surprisingly simple. Your body isn't really built to detect speed. It's built to detect changes in speed. Acceleration, deceleration, a sharp turn, a sudden drop. This idea goes all the way back to one of Newton's basic observations about motion. When something moves at a constant velocity, it behaves almost exactly as if it's standing still. That's why a smooth airplane can feel motionless. And it's why the Earth feels motionless too. The planet's rotation is remarkably steady. Its orbit is remarkably steady. You, the atmosphere, the oceans, the buildings, the trees, and everyone you've ever met are all moving together. There's no giant cosmic wind, no sensation pulling you backward, no obvious signal reaching your brain saying, you're moving. So your brain doesn't register it. Not because it's missing information, because the information isn't useful, and that may be the more interesting discovery. Your brain was never designed to show you reality exactly as it is. It was designed to show you the parts of reality that matter for survival. That's a very different goal. The neuroscientist Donald Hoffman has argued that evolution doesn't necessarily favor organisms that see reality accurately. It favors organisms that see reality usefully. Whether every part of that idea is correct is still debated, but the larger point is hard to ignore. Your experience of the world is heavily filtered. Your eyes detect only a tiny fraction of the electromagnetic spectrum. Your ears hear only a narrow range of vibrations. Your brain receives millions of bits of sensory information every second and discards most of it before you're even aware it existed. Researchers studying attention sometimes compare perception to a spotlight. A few things get illuminated, everything else fades into the background. And once you realize that, a strange question appears. If something as enormous as the Earth's motion can disappear from awareness, what else can? Because the Earth isn't the only thing moving without being noticed. Time does this too. Most people don't wake up and feel a year passing, or even a month. A Tuesday in March rarely feels different from a Tuesday in April. Life often arrives as a series of ordinary days. Wake up, answer messages, eat lunch, worry about something, forget something, go to sleep, repeat. Then one afternoon, you're cleaning out a closet and you find an old photograph, or you hear a song you haven't heard since high school. And suddenly reality shifts. For a second, you can actually see the movement. The person in the photograph is you, but not quite. The fears are different. The ambitions are different. The assumptions about life are different. You realize you've traveled a tremendous distance, not geographically, personally. The movement was happening every day. You just couldn't feel it while it was happening. There's a term psychologists sometimes use called the end of history illusion. People consistently believe they've changed a lot in the past, but won't change much in the future. A 20-year-old believes they're nearly finished becoming who they'll be. A 40-year-old often believes the same thing. So does a 60-year-old. Yet when researchers ask older versions of those same people, they discover the changes never stopped. We keep moving. We just stop noticing the movement, which starts to make the Earth's stillness feel less like a scientific curiosity and more like a metaphor hiding in plain sight. Because some of the most powerful forces in our lives don't arrive dramatically, they arrive gradually. A friendship deepens one conversation at a time. A belief changes one thought at a time. A habit forms one repetition at a time. A fear grows quietly. A dream fades quietly. Most of the important transformations in life don't announce themselves. They're too smooth, too continuous, too familiar. And familiarity is one of the fastest ways for something to become invisible. The extraordinary becomes normal, then it becomes background, then it disappears. Think about the fact that you can pull a small rectangle from your pocket and instantly speak to someone on another continent. A few centuries ago, that would have been indistinguishable from magic. Today, it's annoying when the battery is low. Humans adapt with astonishing speed. That's one of our greatest strengths. It's also one of the reasons we stop seeing the remarkable things around us. The more constant something becomes, the less attention it receives. The Earth has been teaching this lesson the entire time. Beneath the feeling of stillness is motion. Beneath the feeling of permanence is change. Beneath the feeling that you've finally arrived is the reality that you're still becoming. Maybe that's the deeper answer hidden inside this question. The Earth feels still, not because it isn't moving. It feels still because your experience of reality is not reality itself. It's a simplified model, a practical one, a version compressed down to a scale that the human nervous system can manage. Most of the time, that's exactly what we need. But every now and then, a question cracks that model open, just enough to let us glimpse what's behind it. And when that happens, something strange occurs. The familiar becomes mysterious again. The obvious becomes astonishing. You remember that you are standing on a spinning planet. You remember that your life is changing, even when it doesn't feel like it. You remember that awareness is always smaller than reality. Right now, wherever you are, everything feels stable. The floor, the room, the moment. But beneath that feeling, you're crossing unimaginable distances through space. You've been doing it since the day you were born, and you'll keep doing it long after this video ends. The strange part was never the motion. The strange part is how effortlessly the mind can turn motion into stillness. Maybe that's what being human is, living inside a reality far larger than the one we experience. Being carried by forces we rarely notice, and occasionally catching a glimpse of them just long enough to realize that the world is much stranger than it feels. The Earth has never stopped moving, not once. Most of the things shaping your life haven't stopped either. You've just gotten used to the ride.